building. Man, the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm not going to sit up here and jump up and down and act like a clown because we have the number one pick. But this is very, very prestigious. It has only happened 2 times in this franchise. Both times I've been alive to see it. I'm thankful for that. But I'm tired of watching this team get their ass beat. I am tired of watching us lose. And something's got to change. And maybe, just maybe, the first overall pick will change something soon. So, what's good, man? Let's get into it. What did I drop? I don't know what the hell happened. How's everybody feeling after a victory loss Monday? Can we say that? A victory loss Monday? Let me know if you can hear me, please, before I start rambling. Am I good? Can you see me? Can you hear me? Can you touch me? Can you feel me? Candy Angel in the building. Angel Eyes, what's good? What's good? Greg Brewer, what it do, man? Hey, hey, hey. It's the Fat Albert. You can hear me? We good? Everything's good? All systems go? All right, let's start the show then. Man, what's up? What's up? Appreciate everybody that rocked with me last night for the live stream. We have one more left. Robert Penner, the Godfather, in the building. Man, we have one more live stream left. And I'll probably do some, for the playoffs. But we have one more Raider live stream left against the Kansas City Chiefs at home to keep the number one position in the NFL draft. And the Chiefs ain't going to go down easy. Well, I mean, they might go down easy. That might be the point. So, man, it's going to be a tough road to try to lose to a team that's going to try to lose. But we got Geno. So we're good. Oh, wait, Geno's hurt. Now what? We got Kenny Pickett. It don't matter. We won't see AOC, so we don't have to worry about winning. Everybody could, relax, I believe, and feel easy. Because, I mean, look at this offense, bro. We had three first downs. 3 for 13 on third downs. Just a horrible offense. An offense that was cooking last week. And then this week, they look like a high school team. So this team is up and down. I'm sure some people are excited. I hear all the talk about fake fans because you want the Raiders to lose. And I say to that, you can kiss my ass. I've rooted for this team for 50 damn years. And yes, I want better. So if you don't want better for this team and you're pissed off because we lost a meaningless game that meant nothing, if you're pissed off because we sat Max Crosby, this is not the channel for you. So, move on. But we'll talk about it. Max Crosby, it is not looking good. It is not looking good at all. Max Crosby, some people have reported Max is good. They talked about it. I don't believe that's the situation, right? Jay Glazer put out another report that said Max Crosby was benched. He was not happy about it. He talked to Max Crosby. And then at the end, he also said there were rumors last year around this time of the offseason about Max Crosby being traded. He didn't want to go anywhere. Has his opinion changed? Jay Glazer would not throw that out there if he didn't know something or something was said, right? That's dangling a hook. And he's not, as one of the top reporters that drops news, is not going to go out there and throw out the fact that maybe Max Crosby won't be here next year. So a lot of Raider fans are going to be upset. A lot of people are going to be pissed off. But could you imagine being a Las Vegas Raider fan and having the first overall pick and possibly 14 and 27 from the Cowboys, possibly 4 and 28, whatever it is, from the Cleveland Browns? Could you imagine having 3 first-round picks? And no Max Crosby. So I just want to let y'all know, man, that don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if you hear a whole lot of Max Crosby trade talks coming in the next couple days, the next couple weeks, the next couple months. It's going to be all over. And I believe that Max Crosby's time as the Las Vegas Raider is done. And I know people don't want to hear it, but I think this was the last straw. Sitting a man that was healthy, that wanted to play, that, has been quoted as saying in the media that he don't give a shit about that first round pick. His job is to be the best, right? And maybe that rubs some people in the building the wrong way. I know it rubs some fans the wrong way. It kind of rubbed me the wrong way. So, it is what it is. But shout out to the people in the building. Robert Pena, who we got? I just want to stop in and say hi, get back to work. Appreciate you. Greg Brewer in the building. Zachary, what's good? Um, if I give you the ball of Xavier Worley, we will win. What? If you give the ball to Xavier Worley, you will win. I mean, it seems pretty easy. The Raiders can't stop the pass. They can't stop the run. It seems like it'd be a damn good thing to do, right? Make sure you hit those like buttons. Yes, appreciate you. Um, Double tap the screen. Or if you give the ball to Travis Swift, we got this. But let's talk about the Chiefs, man. Let's just stop right there. What? Africa needs rappers. Go there. I'm not a rapper, bro. I don't know what you talking about. Might be a poet and didn't know it, but I ain't rapping. I can though. I got flow. You want to hear it? Yeah. You have to check it out on Patreon or something. Oh, but anyways, the Kansas City Chiefs, man, will they or will they not attempt to savage the Las Vegas Raiders #1 pick in the hopes of actually having the #1 pick, right? Because not only do you get the #1 pick, but you also get the first pick in every round, I do believe, or is it only the second round? Somebody let me know in the chat. I know the answer. I just want to know if y'all know. So the value of a #1 pick, the value of being able to trade back, right? Because if you're sitting at #2, who are you trading for? Nobody's trying to move up to get a Ruben Bain. Nobody's trying to move up to get a tackle when there's 3 they can get in the first round. Nobody's trying to move up to get a safety. Nobody's trying to move up to get a receiver. There's a whole bunch in this draft, right? Nobody's going to have to move up to get any other position than a quarterback spot. So sitting at #1, do we take Mendoza? I know a lot of Raider Nation wants Mendoza, right? Everybody wants the quarterback. But what if we don't? What if we don't take Mendoza? What if the Raiders actually have adults adulting in the building, like a lot of us said last year, right? This team was going to change because we actually have adults in the building. Well, those adults turned out to be 74-year-old men that are reverting back to their childhood years and weren't really adults in the building. So how many do we have? I feel like a lot. So I'm looking at it as the Raiders have a lot of options if they can keep that #1 pick. But to keep the #1 pick, what do you have to do? Let's talk about that. The Raiders, I said last night in my live, because I was reading off of the damn phone who lied to me. It said the Raiders can't fall more than #2. Well, that is a lie. We could fall to #3 if we beat the Kansas City Chiefs at home, if the Giants lose, and if the New York Jets lose. That puts us behind the Jets, which is not a good spot, right? So the Raiders, again, have to go out and do everything they can to try not to win this game. You have Kenny Pickett, who has not been very good. You have Antonio Mafi playing the left guard spot because, Dylan Parham came down with the illness right before the game and could not go. We still have yet to see Charles Grant. We have still yet to see Cody Lindenberg. We've seen a little tiny, tiny splash of Tommy Eichenberg. And I believe the Raiders front office needs to call down and say, look, we're sitting this guy, we're sitting this guy, we're sitting this guy, and we're also sitting this guy, and you play with what you got. Because we need to see what we have in the locker room. And I've been saying this all year, man. We don't have any idea of any of these guys. Charles Grant played, I think, a couple snaps this week. Again, also, a couple snaps ain't enough, bro. It's not enough. Not to worry, when the draft is going on, it'll be announced the first round pick for the Las Vegas Raiders is a field goal kicker. Oh, shout out to the Godfather. Come on, man. Don't put that out there. Don't put that out there. Lucas, why was your message rejected? Why can't I read it? So I need y'all to mod for me. It's all good. Navy vet in the building. What's good, my brother? Appreciate you. What is the food you could eat the rest of your life? and need never get bored of. What kind of question is that? Steak? Fucking steak. What kind of food could you eat the rest of your life and never get bored of? Greg Brewer says pizza. Who else in the chat? What y'all got? Robert Penna says wings. What? Pizza and wings. I'm gonna stick with steak. Jason Ruiz, what's good? What's good, man? What's good? Let me know in the comments. What's a favorite food that you can eat your whole life and never get sick of? I don't know who asked the question, but what's good? I didn't do anything. That's probably normal. um, which faction is better, the Enclave or the Brotherhood of Steel? How? I don't know. What are we talking about here? What are we talking about here? Giants clapped them cheeks yesterday. F that number one pick. Oh, so all of a sudden because you became a winning team, all of a sudden because you won a game, now all of a sudden it's F that number one pick, right? Because Giants fans were crying on the internet. The Raiders are benching Crosby. The Raiders are benching Brock Bowers. Both of them were hurt. And Giants fans were crying, had tears. Every single comment, I seen tears dripping down the screen. So now all of a sudden it's F that number one pick, right? F that pick. Well, if you F that pick so much, do me a favor. Do me a favor. Get your Giants team to go out there and win the next game. Beat the Dallas Cowboys, right? That's what I need. That's what I need. If it's really F that pick, then F that pick. Go out there, man up, and beat the Dallas Cowgirls. And if you can't do that, then don't come back in here talking shit. I'm just playing. I'm playing. It's a joke, bro. You swing a hammer like an axe? Nah, bro. I could swing a hammer with one hand. You don't swing an axe with one hand. So why would I swing a hammer like an axe? That's just a weird question. Mikey Ox. You got the oxtail. Jamie McFadden says LOL. All right, so I want to talk about something that's irritating the hell out of me, right? Irritating the hell out of me. Lawrence, what's good? Did anybody watch the game yesterday? And if you watched the game, can you tell me who the player was that got pushed out of bounds on the Giants sideline and then continued to get his head kicked on, punched on, people grabbing on him, dudes falling on him? There was like 6 Giants teammates, and you can hear people in the background on their phone recording it, saying, yeah, get that Raider, stomp that N-word, right? And there's no other Raiders. There's no Raiders to be anywhere seen. They're on the Giants sideline. That would have never, ever, ever, ever happened in Oakland, bro. Never. The fans would have jumped over the damn rails. There was no way that shit would have happened. It would have been a brawl. That game would have been over and ended, bro. There was no way that shit would have ever happened in Oakland or Los Angeles. Man, this team has got soft, bro. It has got very, very soft, and it's ridiculous that nobody, absolutely nobody, except for Isaiah Palomau came over and started to get in after it was already broke up. There was no flags. Nobody got flagged. Nobody got ejected. The player punched the dude in the face in his helmet. Well, not face because he had a helmet on, but straight up, bop, in his helmet. He falls down on the ground, and there's 6-7 Giants on top of him. So if the NFL does not review this and suspend some of the Giants players, bro, it's a tragedy, bro. It's absolutely sickening. But I can't believe that the teammates or the so-called brotherhood in the Raider Nation in this locker room in Las Vegas let their boy sit over there and get their ass beat by 10 Giants players on the sideline, and none of them tried to get over there. None of them tried to get in it. That is the most filthiest, disgusting thing I've ever seen as a Raider fan in my life. I've never seen a team so soft, bro. And everybody on that team should be ashamed of themselves. Absolutely ashamed. Oh, well, we didn't want to get ejected. Bullshit, bro. It's the last game of the season. You got one game left. We don't really care about winning in the nation. Maybe the team does. But why wasn't the benches ejected? Why wasn't every single player wearing a silver and black jersey over there trying to protect their boy? What if we could, like, there's no way that shit would have happened in Oakland in the 60s, the 70s, the 80s. The whole damn team would have been suspended. Everybody would have been over there fighting. And that shit pisses me off, bro. It's a bad, bad look at home in our own stadium. And we got a one silver and black player. And I don't know who it was. I have to look it up. But we got one player, bro, on the ground getting stomped on. The dude stomped on his head. Stomped on his head. It's on footage. Go look it up on the internet. The dude trying to kick him in his head, punch him in his face, and nobody's doing nothing about it. We got players sitting over there like they just walk back to the bench. They don't even care. That's ridiculous, bro. I think it was Greedy Vance. I think it was the rookie. A rookie. A rookie. You let a rookie. Man, I'm disappointed in this team, bro. Disappointed. I wasn't disappointed in the damn game or the outcome. I was disappointed in the effort, right? The effort was hideous. There was no effort from anybody. Yes, they tackled probably a little bit better than they usually tackle in the games, but there was no effort from anybody on that team. It looked like nobody wanted to be there. As soon as they found out that Crosby and Brock Bowers are getting benched and Crosby wanted to play, it looked like everybody was like, man, this is it. We got no Max Crosby, which what are you going to do when there is no Max Crosby? But let's break down some stats. We had Geno Smith, 20 for 28, 176 yards, one touchdown, two interceptions. The same old Geno, the same old Geno. And with that, to the people that say the Las Vegas Raiders are tanking, I tell you, pick up a book, read, educate yourself, because you can't tank when you're 2-14? 2-14. You're not tanking. We suck. We suck. We are horribly coached. We have a 74-year-old coach that has forgot his philosophy on how to coach football. He is stuck in the past, and you can't get these players to play anymore. If you look at our home game record, the first game, we put up 20-something points. No. The first game, we only put up 13 points. The next game, we almost won. We almost beat the Bears. We put up, 27? I think it was 27, 28, 28, 29, whatever it was. We put up points at home. The next game, we put up 20 points at home, 20-10. We beat the Titans. The next game, I'm trying to think off the top of my head. The next game, I do believe, was the Jacksonville Jaguars at home, right? We put up 20 points in that game. We got, another close game. And then after that, we put up 10 points at home. We put up 7 points at home. We put up 0 points at home. Good Lord, bro. Oh, no, we got beat up. Yeah, so this team has not played for Pete Carroll all year long. And people in the building can keep saying, oh, these guys are playing, they're battling for Pete Carroll. This is not a team that's battling. This is not a team that has heart. This is not a team that on offense or defense. Now, I know the offensive line has starting to, lean on the people, right? Get their weight on there because they ran the ball 25 times last week. This week, 16 attempts. 16 attempts for Ashton Jeanty. He still has 60 yards. They threw it to him twice. Last week, he had 60 yards on 2 attempts. The week before, he caught the ball 5 times. This offense is pathetic, bro. It's pathetic. And it has Pete Carroll's imprint all over it. So, another horrible game. Jackson Dart was 22 for 30, 207 yards, 0 touchdowns, but he had 2 on the ground. Tracy, right? Tracy, where was he drafted? It sure the hell wasn't 6th overall. But they got a solid offensive line. Had 14 attempts with 62 yards. Wendell Robinson had 11 catches for 113 yards. And shout out to Michael Mayer, bro. Where has this been all year? I talked about it in the offseason. I've talked about it for a whole year. I talked about it last year, right? When we got Brock Bowers as a rookie. Why? Why are we not running or passing? I mean, why are we not passing at a 12 personnel? Why? Brock Bowers, 4 or 5 catches a game, 60, 70 yards, right? Once in a while, he'll have, 7, 8 catches. He'll have a 100-yard game. Michael Mayer, 9 targets, 9 catches, or 10 targets, 9 catches, 89 yards. Never got to the red zone to use them because we threw picks. But that's a stout number with Geno Smith as the quarterback. Could you imagine what Brock Bowers and Michael Mayer could do with a real quarterback? I have no idea where I was in the chat. Who do you think is winning Sunday? I hope the Chiefs win. I hope the Chiefs win. Congrats, Rebel. What am I congrats on? Just start Gina. Gina is hurt, so there will be no Gina. I'm working in the background. Okay, I think I caught up. But let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments, man. 12 people in here. Shout out to everybody in the building. Let me know in the comments. If you're the Raiders and you have the #1 pick overall, do you take the only quarterback in this draft worth taking in the first round? The only one? Come on, man. When there's 7 quarterbacks projected in the first round, probably only 2 of those hit. Right? If you look at the last 25 drafts, quarterbacks taken in the first round, the ones taken later in the first round are the ones that hit. The ones taken first overall. Another little stat, right? Little stat. This is why I do this. I try to give everybody knowledge. Not everybody reads stats and follows shit up. But a little tidbit for the Mendoza fans that think, oh my God, we have the #1 pick and we're going to be saved by the Latino quarterback, right? He's going to come in and save the world, just like, just like Raiders of the past. We keep living in the past. But how about this? Tom Brady and Brock Purdy, what do they have in common? Well, one was drafted in the 6th round. One was Mr. Irrelevant and drafted last overall in the NFL. Combined, they have 39 playoff wins. You know how many combined playoff wins the first overall quarterback taken in the draft in the last 25 years combined? I think it was 20. Out of the last 25 years, a quarterback has been taken #1 in the draft. 20 of those. 20 out of the last 25 years, a quarterback has been taken #1. They have a total of 37 playoff wins. 37. No Super Bowls. Oh, 2 Super Bowls. 37, bro. And you're telling me that with one quarterback in this draft, and the Raiders having the first overall pick for the first time in 18 years, for the second time in franchise history, you take that one quarterback? The one. I mean, if that's what y'all believe is going to save this franchise, I can't change your mind, right? Sheep are going to follow whatever they hear, whatever they believe. And that's what's going around the internet. Everybody says, take Mendoza. I'm not there yet. And I don't know if I ever will be. This team needs a lot. There's a lot of people that say they want Mendoza. Let them do the homework. Let them take the risk. And if the dude hits, great. But we still get picks this year, picks next year. And I'm sure one of those will hit just as well as a quarterback. When you look next year, man, the quarterbacks, C.J. Carr, Lenoris Sellers, Um, Trinidad Chambliss. Oh my God, I love this kid, bro. Trinidad Chambliss. That dude is gonna be special, right? Dante Moore. Come on, man. He's not worth waiting one more year for? One more year? These dudes aren't coming out. I would look, I will be crazy, crazy, crazy surprised, and I might even do a giveaway if any of these dudes declare for the damn draft. I don't see it. I don't see it. Next year. Next year. Damn, if you trade back that first overall pick and you get a first round this year and a first next year, or shit, maybe even two first next year, it gives you three first round picks next year. Come on, this team is on the rise. But if you're telling me you're just gonna go get one quarterback in the first round, and like I told you, two quarterbacks drafted in the seventh and the sixth round in their career have more playoff wins than the last 20 quarterbacks drafted in the first round. To me, the odds say trade that pick. Trade that pick. Can I get trade that pick in the chat? Hashtag trade that pick. Because man, if we sit and pick and Mendoza for any reason is not that guy, or for any reason the coach that we bring in that drafts him is not that coach, and they have to go get another coach that does not like Mendoza, they want a more mobile quarterback, right? You wasted a first overall pick that only comes around once every 18 years. For some teams, it never comes around. Let's find out. I don't know how many teams have not had the first overall pick, but I'm pretty sure there's a lot, because it seems to me like the Jets and the Giants have that shit every single year or are right there close. Let me find this out. How many teams in the NFL have never had the first overall pick? Woohoo! Damn. There are three teams in NFL who have never had the first overall pick: the Baltimore Ravens, the Denver Broncos, and the Seattle Seahawks. These teams have never even had that pick. But the Baltimore Ravens are always in the playoffs. The Denver Broncos, yeah, they've had their ups and downs. The Seattle Seahawks, pretty much right there, always in the playoffs, never even had a first overall pick. And we're acting like just take a chance and go get Mendoza. It's all going to be okay. It's all going to be okay. You have problems on the offensive line. You have no defensive pass rush whatsoever. You couldn't get to the quarterback if you blitz 6 or 7 every single game. 7-on-5. This team probably still couldn't get to the quarterback. You have one corner in Eric Stokes. Will he be back next year? Who knows? You have another one that looks up and coming in Darian Porter. What do you have after that? Jeremy Chin in the backfield, Isaiah Palamau, should be playing a strong safety, not free safety. The Raiders have a lot of problems. They don't have a linebacker in the building that can run faster than a 4.9. Who you chasing, bro? Who you catching up to? Who you covering, right? The Raiders have problems on offense. They haven't had a first round pick on the offensive line that's stuck since Colton Miller. They drafted Alex Leatherwood. He played 2 years in the NFL, 1 year in the NFL, and bounced around the NFL, right? Another John Gruden, Mike Mayock, horrible pick, right? The Raiders have misdrafted over and over and over again, and the nation is just sold on this Mendoza kid, right? I get it. The Latino kid is great. He's going to come in. He's going to save the world. But I don't know if it's going to be for the Las Vegas Raiders, man. I just don't know. What's your opinion on being a clown, bro? Are the Raiders still considered a football team? Oh, that's funny. They continue to considered a football team with the first overall pick right now, son. That's what they're considered. Yo, double tap the screen, man. We had over 100, 200 people in here. I got 12 likes. Come on. If you ain't picking up what I'm putting down, at least, hit the dislike button or something. But But show some love. Appreciate it. Y'all want Mendoza? I feel like the Raiders are in a good position to trade that number one pick. See, that's what I'm talking about. Joe knows what's up. Shout out Joe Sports Shorts. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Philadelphia Eagles win yesterday. No, they didn't just win yesterday. They put it on them. They put it on them. What's the Colts record? It doesn't matter. They ain't in the playoffs. Don't matter. Hi, the Raiders are trash. Well, that's so sweet. So sweet of you. The Colts are better than you. I mean, they did whoop our ass. So, I mean, they would, it is what it is. Finally, Broncos year. Stay tuned. I'm talking about Max Crosby very, very soon. As soon as I get some of these comments out the way. Same coach who was going to pass the ball 1 yard line instead of running with Marshawn Lynch. Thank you. Thank you. That's what I'm talking about. And now he won't run the ball with Ashton Genty at all. 10 times a game, bro. 10 times a game, right? What does this team come to, man? Let's go, Broncos. It's a Super Bowl time. I don't know, bro. Your quarterback is not very accurate on deep ball throws. He's not very accurate at all consistently. And if your defense plays lights out, you always have a chance to win no matter who you are in the NFL. That's why I keep saying F that quarterback. F that quarterback, right? Because you can go get a free agent for a year until next year when we have 15 possible first round quarterbacks coming out, if they all come out. I mean, it really could. There could be a lot. There could be an amazing amount of quarterbacks. And then you're sitting there with having 2 first round picks this year, and you got 2 first round picks next year just sitting there waiting to go get whatever quarterback you want, right? And if there's 5, if there's 3, if there's 9, if there's 15 quarterbacks in the first round, because then maybe they all declare and they're like, shit, let's see who's the best, right? It could be. But if you build the defense, you win ball games. Look at the Broncos. Look at the Chargers. Look at the Eagles. Look at the Texans. Look at the Seattle Seahawks. Look at every damn team in the playoffs with an 11-4 or a 12 whatever the hell, but you know what I mean. But with a winning record, look at every one of those teams. What do they all have in common? Their defenses are in the top 10. They're in the top 10 in turnovers. They're in the top 10 in points from takeaways. They're in the top turns in least rushing yards. They're in the top 10. Defense still wins ball games in the NFL. And if you got a chance to trade that number one pick and jump back and get a Caleb Downs and possibly an Arvell Reese, you really want Mendoza. You really want Mendoza. You got a chance to get CJ Allen or Rodriguez, the linebacker from Texas Tech, and a Caleb Downs, or a top corner in this draft. And you really, you really still want Mendoza? Out of the last 24 Super Bowls, 18 of those teams have had a top 5 defense or better. Out of the last 24 Super Bowl winners have all had a top 5 or top 10 defense. 17 out of 24. All of those 24 had at least a top 15 defense, at least minimum top 15. So to make it to the Super Bowl, your defense has to be 15 or better. Where are we sitting at right now? Do we really need to take a quarterback? Come on, man. Let's be smart with this pick. Let's build this franchise from the ground up, because we are on the ground at the very bottom in quicksand, and we need to start building, right? Chiefs fans are rooting for the Broncos this year. Oh, it was crazy. The Raider fans were actually cheering at the game when the Giants scored. Every time the Giants scored a touchdown, Raider fans were jumping up and down, cheering and yelling and screaming. This is a sad day in Raider Nation, bro. This is pathetic. I was doing the same thing. I did the same thing in my live stream. I just couldn't help it. I was like, oh, do you know what the interception? And I was like, what am I doing? What am I doing? What have I become? What have I become? I did not put this shit on my arm so the whole damn world could see everywhere I go to be rooting for this team to lose. Come on, man. Pathetic. In 50 years, I ain't never ever wished for this team to lose. And this is where we're at. I think even if the Raiders had Sam Darnold in free agency, the results would probably be the same. See, I disagree. I disagree because if you look at the games we've played, right? The Chicago Bears, we played them tight as hell. We had 3 turnovers, 3 interceptions by Geno Smith. This team still has played the Chicago Bears better than any team has played them. The New England Patriots, we came back and won in that game. Geno Smith still had an interception, right? The defense came up and played. The running game, put it all together. Um, what other game? The Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jacksonville Jaguars, besides their 4 losses, the Raiders have played the Jacksonville Jaguars harder than anybody, right? We had them on the brink, and we could have won that game also. So there's been games from teams that are playoff teams. New England, Chicago, Jacksonville, and somebody else we had a decent game. I can't even remember. There were so few. I think I remember them all. But my point is the Raiders have played some tough teams that are playoff contenders that might go deep into the playoffs. They have played them very, very well with a very poorly coached offensive line, with a very, very poorly coached run game system, which is both Brendan Carroll, right? With a very poorly coached passing game attack. They run stacked trips, right? A 3-by-1 or a 1-by-3, just depending. They mix it up. They put the 3 on the top, the 3 on the bottom, but they constantly run trips nonstop, bro, nonstop. Every single play, go back and watch their film. It's trips to one side, trips to the other. 2 tight ends and a receiver, 2 receivers and a tight end. They're stagnant, bro. This offense is bad, but I feel like if they had better coaching, this team would have won a lot of games this year. I guarantee you, they would have won a lot of games. It's just this defense has played well, but when the offense turns the ball over, the defense just gives up. They're like, sit back time. It's time to sit back, and it happens. It happens every single game. Every single game. Shows Jesus loves you, Mr. Badass. Shout out to you. Appreciate you. What up, man? Ramrod in the building. Hope you're having a good Monday, Sham. What's good? Broncos fan here. Raiders should focus on building their defense. See, there you go. There you go. If you look at that right there, that's a Broncos fan saying, look at us. Look at us. Look at me now. Look at me now. They about to get some paper. That whole defense is about to get paid, right? So, and you got Broncos fans telling us what to do, and Raiders fans still don't want to listen, right? I'm all in Geomex Raiders, bro. I'm all in on rocking with whatever quarterback it is, Cam Miller, Aiden O'Connell, all year next year, and see what happens. See what happens. Let this defense gel. If it's Patrick Graham, if it's another defensive coordinator, whoever it is, right? If you watched my live 2 days ago, I broke down 7 coaches, offensive coordinator, head coach, and defensive coach to put together and pair them together. And I guarantee you, I promise you, if anybody in the NFL takes any of those 3 coaches together, you're going to win some games. But if they go get a defense coordinator, and we'll talk about Max in a minute. I've been here 40 minutes. I'm not going to be on here too long, but we'll talk about Max in a second. But yeah, listen to the Broncos fan, man. Their defense is why they're in the playoffs, right? Bo Nix could have 2 interceptions in a game. They still end up winning in the 4th quarter because he just turns it on. He can run the ball. He can throw the ball, right? He don't have to be perfectly accurate. They don't have, a huge number 1 receiver over there. I mean, Cortland Sutton's, yeah, but they trading the pick for Shador. Stop. Stop, William. Come on, bro. What up, big dog? Geomex in the building. My guy, what's good, man? Hope you're having a good day, my brother. Having a number 1 defense in the league will win more games for the Raiders. Shout out to you. I don't have no buzzers or buttons. Be like, wah, 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 or any shit like that. But shit, I mean, you nailed it, bro. You nailed it. Nailed it. Shout out to In Your Soul. He knows what's up. Did y'all take Charles Woodson number one? Is Charles number one? No. No. We've only had the number one pick twice. This is only the second time. So we've only picked one time, I do believe, the number one pick, and I'm pretty sure it was Jamarcus Russell. What was Charles Woodson taking? I think it was third or fourth, I want to say. When was Charles Woodson selected for the Raiders? Fourth overall. Fourth overall. I know my Raiders beat. I know my Raiders. Uh, it's all rigged. Come on, man. Don't say that. Don't say that. Bro is obsessed with the Raiders. Yeah, bro. I'm a diehard, man. 50 years I've been following this team. I watch every game. I know every player on the roster every single year. Like I know their numbers. Yeah, it's obsessive, bro. You are right. You are right. I ain't gonna lie with you. I ain't gonna lie. Shit. Ain't even gonna try to lie. I'm a Raider fan for life, bro. For life. No matter where they go. Shit. They can move to Austria. I'll still be a Raider fan. What's gonna happen with Max? Well, I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that. Because I'm not really happy with Max Crosby right now. I'm not very happy with Max Crosby right now. And if you don't think there is an issue with Max Crosby, and Max Crosby could be on the way out, the that Max Crosby, yeah. We all know he posted on social media him shooting hoops with his little girl inside. I don't know how old those were or new those were. But we seen he was hopping around on one leg, right? He wasn't putting pressure too much on it. We all know he's had a knee injury all year long since the Kansas City game. Um, I reported a couple weeks ago on my live that I read somewhere that Max Crosby, if he could get his knee drained, that he would be ready for the game. I never knew Max Crosby was getting his knee drained every single week, if that's the case, right? But he was doing that, 2 years ago. He had to get his knee drained, and it was a problem, right? Because he had an infection in it. So I don't know if it's the case where he's still getting it drained before every game or just, every couple games he's got to get it drained. But I believe it's the same problem. So that's a problem with Max Crosby. He's been injured. He's been doing everything he can, to get out and play in the games. And if you watch the film this year on Max Crosby, it doesn't look 100%, right? You can see him when there's a pile or guys, getting close together. Max, hopping on the other leg. He's lean. He's slowing up. He hasn't been the same Max Crosby, and I could show you plenty of film where it's not the same Max Crosby. However, he also showed him jumping on a trampoline, right? And these are all indications of a disgruntled player that is not happy. Max Crosby, last year, there was talks about him leaving, wanting to be traded, possibly moving on. You heard the Lions, right? The Chicago Bears. We've seen Max Crosby in every single jersey out there. Shit, I even got him on my phone in a pink jersey. Um, He's been in every colored jersey out there, right? For every team. He's always in the talks. And he said he didn't want to go anywhere. He wanted to be a Raider for life. But then on his podcast, Max Crosby said, you know, there comes a time after all the sacrifices, after losing, where you have to think about if the coaching, carousel, turnaround, turnover doesn't stop, that there will be a time, right? There will be a time. Max Crosby has said he wants consistency, consistency, consistency. He wants to win. He wants to be the greatest. He wants to be the best. And sometime when you want to be the best, you put on blinders and you forget about the people around you, right? Because Michael Jordan was never the best without Charles Grant, without not Charles Grant, Horace Grant, without who else did they have over there? Danny Ainge, Scottie Pippen, right? all them players, Dennis Rodman, right? All the players he had, Kobe Bryant would have never, well, probably would have been great because he won with Lamar Odom and and Artest around Artest. So yeah, but what I'm saying is great players would never been great without great players around them. And Max Crosby doesn't have great players around him. It's obvious. He's never had great players around him. So and the fact that there's no consistency, that the coaching turnover is just constantly rolling and rolling and rolling. Max Crosby was questioning whether he wanted to be a Raider last year. And they talked him out of it, right? They talked him out of it. They said, we're going to get Pete Carroll. We're going to sign this man that has the blueprint, to winning. He's been to 2 Super Bowls. Yeah, he lost one because of a stupid ass call and didn't run the ball with Marshawn Lynch. And maybe some people started thinking then that maybe there's something wrong with Pete Carroll and it's, the age is catching up with him. But they let him continue to coach and they got worse. Seattle moved on. We decided it was a good idea to bring him in. And it convinced Max Crosby to stay, right? You see him talking with Pete Carroll. You seen Pete Carroll's inaugural press conference. He pointed out Max in the back and said, tell them guys, get ready. We coming. We about to win right now, right? We, gassing everybody up in the building. And now all of a sudden, Pete Carroll's like, well, I don't know. Max Crosby, he's really disappointed. And then I don't even know what the hell the old man is saying anymore. And no disrespect, but I can't understand him. I don't even watch the press conferences. Really, I used to, do them all live streams anymore. But it's gotten to the point where it's sad and pathetic, and I can't even watch. And I'm sure Max Crosby's feeling the same way. He's like, bro, now there are talks about moving on from another coach again. I mean, the coaches he's had in the 7 or 8 years he's been a Raider is ridiculous. And no player that wants to be great, that wants to win, can sit there and take that. So with that being said, I feel like sitting Max Crosby is the straw that broke the camel's back. He has an ego. Every player has an ego. Anybody with money has an ego. And you hurt his ego by not letting him play and sitting him at home. But what I want to say is the fact that Max Crosby did not show up to the damn football game when he lives in the state, when it's a home game. You're the captain of this damn team, and you chose to sit at home and watch from a TV with your family why Brock Bowers was there, why Colton Miller was there, why Jeremy Chin was there, why JPJ was there, why all these dudes that are on IR are there in the building on the sideline with their team, with their brothers. And Max Crosby, he's not in the building. He's not in the booth. He's not in a suite. Where's Max? Where's Max? Did you watch the 49er game? Anybody watch the 49er game? Where was Fred Warner? Right? Injured, out for the season. Every home game. He's there with his family. That's a captain and a leader. Do the Raiders have the right captain and the leader in the building? He's been the captain. He's been the leader. Where has he led this defense to? And there's nothing against Max Crosby, but sometimes shit just goes sour. And I feel like it's gone sour. The fact that you don't show up to support your brothers, there is no excuse for it. You can't tell me he had other plans. He was planning on playing Sunday. Right? That's a butthurt person that's pissed off because he didn't get his way. He didn't get to play. The Raiders want to lose. They want to prepare for the future. And it's looking to me, don't be surprised if Max Crosby is not in the Raiders' future. I would trade out that number 1 pick and get some capital and get hella players and get some pieces for when you get your quarterback. I mean, right? That makes all the sense. Jimmy Russo in the building, that makes all the sense in the world, right? To go out, to trade back, because there's a lot of teams that need a quarterback, man. There's a lot of teams that need quarterbacks. What, 9, 10? But there's also teams that have first-round picks that have a Super Bowl caliber team, right? A Super Bowl competing team like the Rams. And Matthew Stafford is getting up there in age. And Matthew Stafford almost retired this year. And Matthew Stafford might retire next year. What about the Rams? What about them Rams with 2 first-round picks? Maybe they want to move up, get their quarterback of the future in Mendoza. Maybe maybe they shock everybody. Maybe it's the Cardinals with their 2 first-round picks. Maybe it's the Dallas Cowboys, Max Crosby back home. The Raiders would pick what? Um, 12 and 18, or what are the Cowboys picks? I don't know. But could you imagine where this team would be, like the Houston Texans did, right? They went and got their quarterback and their defensive, booking on the edge in the same round because they had those 2 first-round picks. The Chicago Bears, they cleaned up last year because they had those 2 first-round picks. The Washington Redskins, they cleaned up because they had them picks, right? There's four teams in this draft that have 2 first-round picks. In the Raiders, if you could trade and get those 2 first-round picks and some more capital, it's the best scenario, man. It's the best scenario. Right now, hold on. Let me ask this question. What? But yeah, right now, man, there is a crazy list of quarterbacks that are going to be available next year. And let's talk about them. Let's talk about them. The one, I'm just saying, I would wait next year, the year after. Julian saying, right? Killing it at Ohio. Might win the Natty this year as a freshman. Killing it. Julian saying, QBR of 90.1. What else? Run, sacks, passes. All right, that's all it's going to show. You got Jalen Maivia, USC. Very talented QB that I wouldn't mind, taking a look at all if that was the case either. But that's going to be next year, right? You have Fernando Mendoza this year. Pavia this year. You have Trinidad Chambliss next year. The kid out of Ole Miss is dude, he's big, right? He's strong. He's got a strong arm. He looks like he has a decent mind. He makes damn good decisions. He can also run the hell out of the football and run people over. I really love this kid, man, and I would wait. I would wait 2 more years to get this kid. Really, I would save all my draft picks, trade some people, do whatever I had to do to go up and get this kid. Stockton is going to probably come out of the draft from Georgia. You have C.J. Carr. Taylor Green is going to come out. Dampier probably will for Utah. Sorsby, Dante Moore, Ty Simpson, Julian Aguilar. I mean, dude, Marcel Reed, like, it's quarterback after quarterback after quarterback after quarterback. And let's not even forget Arch Manning. What if Arch Manning comes out next year, right? You're telling me if you're the Raiders, you would rather draft Fernando Mendoza with the first overall pick this year, than to wait next year and possibly have a chance at Arch Manning? Come on, man. What are we doing here? Are we really serious? Look at the talent and the upside of Arch Manning. It is absolutely, bless you, it is absolutely ridiculous. The kid, struggled at the beginning of the year, got it together late in the year. It was fun as hell to watch, bro. This dude worships money, throwing the ball. I don't worship money, bro. I'm broke. You worshiping shit you don't have. What you mean? Do they trade him? I believe Max Crosby gets traded. I really feel like, the ties are severed, and I believe that there comes a point in time where if the Raiders move on from Pete Carroll, and I believe Pete Carroll is time is up in Vegas. No matter how much he wants to say, he feels it's safe. He feels like he has good talks with the upper management. From what I'm hearing, there's one owner, Mark Davis, that wants Pete Carroll in the building. The other four minority owners don't want Pete Carroll in the building. So who's going to win out? I don't know. But if Pete Carroll is gone, look for Max Crosby to be on another team next year. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Quarterback class isn't good enough this year. No, it's not. And it's a horrible time that the Las Vegas Raiders have the first overall pick in a year where there's no quarterbacks, right? Only the silver and black. Only this team, right? Only this team right here. Right? This team. That one. Yeah. Only that team would end up with the number one pick overall in the draft. Only this team when there's one quarterback, and that is the biggest need on the team. Or is it? Or is it? Navy Vet says trade the pick. That's what it just makes more sense to trade the pick. Y'all should get Burrow. And we could talk about that too. If you're a football fan, if you're a Raider fan, and you would be mad at Joe Burrow coming to the Las Vegas Raiders, you need your psyche checked. This man is still top 3 in the NFL on any given Sunday. Hurt, halfway hurt, playing hurt. Joe Burrow is him. And if you had any chance to get Joe Burrow and it wasn't crazy, right? I would do it. I would do it. Now, if they said, give me that number one pick for Joe Burrow, I don't know. Because I believe you could trade back and get 2 more first round picks, and you can get a Joe Burrow out of there, right? Trade Max. Hashtag Trade Max. Let's go. Hashtag Trade Max. Put that out there in the universe. I'm really starting to feel like that's the best bet. And, I talk shit about Max more than anybody. I love Max as a player. I think what he does, what he's done with getting sober, with his career, is one of the greatest stories ever, right? Somebody that's dealt with the same things, gone through the same shit in my life, and, has turned it around. It's not easy, bro. So shout out to Max for everything he's done. But on the other hand, I think he's really held this team down for the last 3 years. Right? He had one great year, 14 and a half sacks. And then after that, it's been injuries, playing half a year. You're getting more money on a year, right? Come on, you got a 2-year extension on a year that you got hurt and missed 7 games. Like, sometimes a franchise just needs to say, bro, it's time to cut our losses. Time for you to cut your losses and go make money somewhere else, right? Go be on a contender. Because by the time this team is a contender, Max Crosby might not even be walking with the way he has injuries. Can you do a strikeout, take a hit, hold, chug a beer, take a what? Can you do a strikeout, take you got super chat? How much money you got? I could do whichever one you want. Take a hit. I don't have a beer to chug. I got a shot. Can't do no blowout. Mobile quarterbacks don't win Super Bowls. That's a fact too. That's a fact right there. And good thing Mendoza is not really a mobile quarterback, right? He's a dude that can make plays with his feet, but he's not, right? He's not this big giant mobile quarterback. Do you know Michael Ray? No. Pocket passers only win Super Bowls. If that's the case, then why aren't they playing Aiden O'Connell? Right? We hear all this talk and all this hate on Aiden O'Connell from all these people that claim to know ball, but they don't think Aiden O'Connell has it. Come on, man. If you put Aiden O'Connell on the Eagles, on the Chiefs, on the Titans, on the Minnesota Vikings, on any of these teams that have a O line and a defense, this kid's winning you games, bro. Playoff games. Raider Nation is more like Raider elimination. Even Hurts had to throw the ball in the Super Bowl, right? I mean, you can't just constantly run the ball. Teams are going to tee off on that. They're going to tee off on your quarterback. Ask Jackson Dart how many concussions he's had. Shout out for the 499. Holla! We'll give Bryce Young in a second, 2 number twos, and a 3 for Crosby. I don't think that's enough, bro. I mean, I like Bryce Young, right? He's had a decent season. He's gonna have a decent year. But the size bothers me. The fact that you gotta roll out to throw over the line of scrimmage, to see over the line of scrimmage, is a problem for me. It's a problem for me. I'm not a big fan of small quarterbacks, man. I like quarterbacks to be, 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", up there, so they could see over these big ass dudes and not have to worry about passing lanes, worry about sliding in the pocket, stepping up in the pocket, rolling out of the pocket. Right? Quarterback is a big man position, and it always should be. Now, if you have wheels, that's just extra. Broncos have their ups right now. I mean, the Broncos did it right. They did it right. They waited. They went and they brought in their coach. He got rid of their quarterback. Said adios, hasta la vista. Take your $240 million and get the hell out of my building. We'll pay you later. Right? That's a big ballsy move by Sean Payton, and he did that. And the Broncos suffered the first year, and they struggled the second year, and now they got a quarterback. And this year, they're reaping the rewards of letting go something they were holding on to, thinking we can't let this go because we paid too much money for it. And Sean Payton said, "Nah, bro, get him out of my building. We'll work on the salary. We'll make it work." And the Broncos made it work, right? And I believe the Raiders could do the same thing with a Max Crosby. Rams prove you don't need a first round pick. Yeah, the Rams prove it every year, man. The Rams prove it every year. How many number one drafted quarterbacks have won a Super Bowl? In the last 25 years, zero. Zero. No, one. One. Cam Newton. Wait, did Cam Newton win a Super Bowl? Or he lost that Super Bowl? Fuck, I don't know. Hey Siri, did Cam Newton win a Super Bowl?
Here's an answer from sportscasting.com and popculture.com.
Oh. Nope. So, then no. Then no. Joe Burrow made it lost. Cam Newton made it lost. Um, Jared Goff made it and lost, right? So no. There's never been a quarterback drafted number one overall that's won a Super Bowl. And for that reason right there, Mendoza, kick rocks, bro. Kick rocks. Stay the hell out of my building. I'm so sick of people always hanging up quarterbacks, mainly black. That's run first, throw second. Mahomes is the only black quarterback to actually throw the ball. Ever seen that running quarterbacks do their ass? I mean, I have to disagree with that. I have to disagree with that. What Mark Williams back in the day won a quarterback with the Redskins. I mean, yeah, with the Redskins. Uh, what you call it? Randall Cunningham could run. He could throw the hell out of the rock. Uh, the Houston Oilers quarterback. Why can't I think of his damn name? Um, yeah, I disagree with that statement, bro. I disagree with that. I disagree with that. And Patrick Mahomes, I mean, he's a half a halfer, bro. He's a half and half. um, we don't either. I'm a Panthers fans. Just trust it's been shitty, weird season. Peyton Manning was number one overall. Was Peyton Manning on that list? But it wasn't in the last 25 years. I think that's the problem. Or maybe it was. I don't know. But anyways, my report was the last 25 years. So maybe Peyton Manning was on there. Maybe he wasn't. I don't think he was. I think it was more than 25 years ago that he was drafted, possibly. Mendoza would be better offset behind Stafford for a year or two. That would be, I mean, that would be great. And let's look at that fact too, right? If you draft Mendoza, you have Tom Brady in the building. Double tap the screen, hit them like buttons, please. I appreciate you. If you're not on the phone, hit the like button. If you don't like, if you're not picking up what I'm putting down, then hit the thumbs down. If you like what I'm picking up what I'm putting down, then like, subscribe to the channel, man. We are trying to get to 2,000 subs before the season ends. There's one game left. I'm gonna have to include the playoffs to make it, but we are a little over 200, away from 2,000. So if y'all could help me out, I'd appreciate you, man. I'd appreciate you. Um, y'all should have kept Gruden, man. Gruden got his head cut off, so there was nothing we could do. Carson Beck is better. You mean this year than Fernando Mendoza? That's a hot take. That's a hot take. And I'm not questioning that really. I'm not questioning that. And I think Carson Beck's decision making, right? His pre-snap read, which is a quarterback's main focus. When you get to the line of scrimmage, and you're like, blue 52, blue, right? You're surveying the defense. That's why you see their head on a swivel. They point out this guy, right? This guy's the mic. We're rolling coverage this way. That's where they're, the strong side. That's where they're blitzing, right? So for a quarterback, that's his number one shit. When you're walking up to the line of scrimmage, you're reading defense, and you're decisive, and you know where you're going with the ball just from reading the defense. And I think Carson Beck struggles with that, and I think he thinks his arm is stronger than it is, and I think he forces a lot of throws. But that can all be fixed. I mean, in college, right? You're probably not really working on that. You have 25 quarterbacks on your roster, but Carson Beck's done a damn good job with Miami, bro. And I wouldn't even venture to say that if he was on Indiana with that offense and that defense, I know Miami's got a good defense, but with the receivers he's got over there, I mean, shit, Carson Beck could be talking about Carson Beck the same way as Mendoza if he was in that system. I feel the Rams are going to the Super Bowl, even though they're probably a top 5 seed. Here's my thing about the Rams. I think they're a Super Bowl contender, right? I think they're in that mix. And I know Chris Shula's name has been talked about a lot of being the Raiders coach, being other head coaches in the NFL. And I'm looking at their defense. I'm looking at the points they give up a game. I'm looking at when they play the solid teams like Seattle, right? When they play the tough teams. The Rams got to put up a lot of points to win. In the NFL, in the playoffs, you ain't putting up a lot of points. Like, unless you're a dominant team in the playoffs, you ain't putting up all them points, right? So I feel like the Rams and Chris Shula, as great as everybody thinks he is, that, I don't know if it's injuries or what, but that the Rams defense is going to have to tighten up. It's going to have to tighten up a lot if they want to even talk about Super Bowl. Raiders. All the wild cards with 10 and 11 wins is crazy, right? It's crazy. And I said at the beginning of the season, I told everybody that this year, the wild card in the AFC West was going to have to be like 6-7 wins, right? Because I didn't think it would be 5. Like, damn, there's 3 wild card teams, I do believe, with 5 losses, man. That's absolutely wild. So no matter how good the Raiders were this year, they would have had to be 12-5 like I predicted them to be at the start of the season, which they probably would have been if they had a different coach. Especially the way this division is flip-flopped. It's crazy anymore given 18-week regular season. Yeah, and they're talking about, adding more games. Talk about adding more games. You got to be able to run the ball and this year pound the rock. I think, the NFL flops, right? Every couple years, for a couple years, it's all about offense, right? You've seen those years where, the greatest show on turf with Kurt Warner and the Rams, and they had, five receivers that run 4.2 40s. They had a great running back that could do the same, right? They had a defense that got their offense the ball back. They threw the ball all over the field, right? All over the field. And now every NFL team tried to start doing that. And then teams started running the ball, like the Philadelphia Eagles, right? With the beef up that offensive line and run the ball and pound it through the trenches. And now you see a lot of teams doing that this year with two running backs, not just one, two running backs. And it's working. The Chicago Bears, the Detroit Lions, um, the Broncos, right? The Chargers. The Chargers are down to their fifth running back, and they're still running the damn football. So the NFL always flips it off, flip flops, and I feel like it's time that running backs are starting to be valued a little bit more. We see Ashton Genty go in the sixth round, pound the rock, control the clock. Exactly, James. That's what I'm talking about. I love it when there's smart people in the building. Raiders fans, oh my dog. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you. The Bears chilling. He ain't mad. It'll be the Rams and the Seahawks. Eagles going to the Super Bowl in the NFC. I can see that. The Seahawks, man. I don't really know. Usually, by now, I'm like, damn, this team looks like they're a Super Bowl contender. Right now, I'm like, damn, all these teams look like they're a Super Bowl contender. And, parity in the NFL is rampant right now, bro. It's rampant. There's a lot of good teams, but then there's, a list of very, very bad teams. Don't sleep on the 49ers. They can compete with anybody. That's a fact. That offense without Kittles is still banging. The injuries they've had, I said it all year, and I'm continue to stand on it. I hate the 49ers. Never been a 49er fan. Of course, I'm a Raider fan. That's why. Um, I did like Steve Young, right? I did like, Joe Montana and Jerry Rice, right? The Roger Craigs of the world. Um, but never been a 49er fan. But I will say this. Shanahan deserves to be in the Coach of the Year talk, man. He's from what he's done with that team, the injuries they dealt with, their number one receiver, Brandon Ayuk, being absolutely a no-show the whole entire season, right? And most teams, they would fall apart without their number one receiver. Nah, they just keep rolling. The defense, they lose their starting quarterback. They plug them in with another starting quarterback drafted in the first round who's taking a little time to come around. And that was his breakout couple games with the 49ers. So the 49ers, man, they have a strong staff. And when you have a strong staff that can, keep these guys together, when you have a leader like Fred Warner who shows up in a cast, the sky's the limit. The sky's the limit. Good leadership will do great things. And I just don't think the Raiders have that in the building right now. Not true. 2006 and 17 Colts defense was garbage. They just outscored their opponents. 2007 was what, 18 years ago? 18 years ago? I said, what I say? 16 out of the last 24, 17 out of the last 24. And I said, all of those teams but one, right, had a top 15 defense. And I think the Colts defense was even close somewhere in there. Bob Sanders was nasty. Did y'all see that Travis Kelce will more likely sign with the Boston? What? Travis Kelce will more likely sign with the Boston Bruins or to make Maple Leafs for the NFL. This dude has been putting in work on the ice and is solid. No way. For you, for real? For real? That'd be crazy, bro. That'd be crazy. If Travis Kelce's really got it like that he leaves the NFL and goes and plays hockey, I'll take back every bad thing I ever said about that man. You ever heard the voice recordings of Mel Gibson to his ex-wife? I can't say I have. I believe no. Bob was one man, though. LOL. Right? Same as Seattle because they do different things. Hire Brian Flores as the next head coach. Man, I'm not hating on that, bro. I am not hating on that. I don't know though if Brian Flores is one of those guys that maybe is just better as a defensive coordinator. Maybe having all the things that go with being a head coach is just too much, and he doesn't know how to delegate the things he needs to the right people. I think that was the problem. Um, but maybe we'll see, we'll see. But I wouldn't be mad at it. I mean, it's worth swinging for the fences. His defense, the way he talks to his guys on the sidelines, every single play, the way when they're down, he's over there, cheering his guys on. He's a rah guy. I really like Flores. I like Flores a lot, and I would not hate on that. Unleashed Raider was good. What's good? What's good? Can you imagine Kelsey? Oh my God, how many damn shit I got in here. Grim, what's good? Appreciate you. Y'all want to hear a good joke? A good Raiders joke? Sure, sure. What's the good joke? Good Raiders joke is their win-loss record. That's not a joke, bro. That's not. It's not even funny. It's not even part of a joke. There's no laughter to it. No laughter to it. This is culturally inappropriate. Why? Why? Holy shit, feet content. We're that far? Okay, I'm just going past all this. I appreciate everybody in the building. I appreciate all your comments. But if I sat here and read all these, it'll take 3 days. So I'm just gonna scroll through and see what anything in here that I need to read. How did the Raiders feel about the ownership being bringing in a worse coach than last year? Um, Watch Carson Beck in college playoffs this year. I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna watch Carson Beck because if you can pull Carson Beck, in the second or third round, I'm totally on board with that. Especially if we trade back. I'm all in. I'm all in on that. Um, I will watch Carson Beck, turn the Raiders around or struggle his ass off. Warren Moon, thank you. Why couldn't I remember the damn Oilers? Navy vet in the building. Raiders. Raiders suck. How does it feel to get the number one pick? Man, it feels great, bro. It feels great. It feels great. It feels so good. It feels so good, bro. Feels so good. 50 years of my life. 50 years of my life, right? I've been waiting for this team to actually have the capital to do what they want to do. If you want to pick, man. I don't give a shit. It better be right. If you want to trade back, trade back. Just trade back for the right people, man. We've had two first round picks before, and I'm not even gonna talk about those. But yeah, man, I'm excited, bro. I'm ecstatic. I just hope they hold on to it. I hope they can, not Raider and do what they do against the Chiefs. Probably feel bad because it's the worst team. And yeah. Either way, we both suck this season. The Giants. Hey, but at least somebody gets, at least one of us gets something good out of sucking. And the Giants still can too, right? The number 2 pick is nothing to scoff at. I mean, you're gonna get the second best or probably the best player because whoever gets the first pick is gonna take probably the 15th best player on the board, Fernando Mendoza. Because I guarantee you, there's probably 10 players and probably close to 15 that are higher rated players than a quarterback that had 33 touchdowns and won the Heisman. Come on, that's weak, bro. That's weak. 33 touchdown wins the Heisman. I said this yesterday. I'm gonna say it again. Fernando Mendoza, right? The Latino King quarterback had 33 touchdowns last year. Out of those 33 touchdowns, he had 6 against top ranked teams. Oregon, Ohio State, Penn State, and Maryland. Against those 4 teams, he had 6 touchdowns to 5 interceptions. Almost all his interceptions came in those 4 games against good defenses. The other 26 touchdowns that he had were against defenses that ain't even ranked on the map and teams that only won 5 or 6 games all year. So, you tell me how great Fernando Mendoza is. But that's fine. That's fine. We can all be on that train and still think that he is the savior of the world, and we are just one quarterback away from being a franchise, playoff, Super Bowl caliber team. Just keep believing that. Keep believing that. Casanova, Raiders are fine, 120 million cap space, #1 pick, full draft behind that. Casanova in the building, 100%, man, 100%. You can't go wrong. $120 million, possible Max Crosby trade incoming, first overall pick, in our hands, in our grasp. We're holding it right now. We just got to hold on to it and not let it go. And 100%, man, the future is bright in Las Vegas. And it's not just the lights from the strip. It's not just the glowing light from the Luxor that's shooting into the sky, right? It's the lights in the building. The future is bright. Casanova says no to Brian Flores. Why? Raiders need an offensive coach. I agree with that 100%. To go with our #1 pick, no Brian Flores. If that's the only thing we have, I'm not mad at the defense coach. Brian Flores, I wouldn't be mad at. Sala, I wouldn't be mad at. Chris Shula, you'd have to sign him to me to a 5, 6, 7 year deal and let him cook for a couple years. And if it doesn't work, then let him go. But I agree with Casanova 100%. I am all in on Mike LaFleur, Mike LaFleur, Mike LaFleur. I've been saying it for 2 years now. They've passed him up. They didn't even bring him in the building last year, which was an absolute shock to me. But this year, the little birdie in my ear says they're finally listening to your Rebel. And Mike LaFleur could be on that list. The problem with the defensive coordinator is if you get a offensive coordinator that gets us to the playoffs, like the Bears coordinator is doing right now, right? Like the who else is hot? The Colts coordinator was, right? If you look at these coordinators that are getting their teams to the playoffs, most of those guys are going to be plucked out next year and they're going to be wanting for other teams, right? Maybe possible head coaches, maybe possible, just offensive coordinator with assistant head coach and, run game coordinator or something, just so it's not a lateral move. But that's the problem with the defensive coach is if he gets that top offensive mind, somebody's going to try to steal him in the next year or two. But if you get that top offensive mind and he's your head coach, it's a lot harder for teams to take him, right? If he's under contract, he ain't going nowhere. But if he's the offensive coordinator, you can always steal him away. So I agree with that. And also I agree with, if you're going to get a quarterback in this round, you need a coach to develop him. Even if you're going to get a quarterback next year, right? Hopefully that coach is going to be here for a year or two. So I definitely want that coach or the offensive coordinator. And that's why you should go check out my live from 2 nights ago when I broke down every coach that I had on my list. I went for 3 weeks. I looked at offenses. I looked at defenses. I looked at their stats. I looked at everything. And I put together a list of seven different staffs: head coach, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. I paired all 3 of them together. I even broke down how much it would cost to bring in these guys. I did my homework. I did everything. So please go back and watch the live stream. You can fast forward to that part, do whatever you got to do, but go check it out. There's a lot of interesting coaches and offensive minds that would help develop a young quarterback. But I believe that young quarterback might not be here till next year. And I believe if we draft one this year, it'll probably be third or fourth round. The Raiders seem to like quarterbacks in the 3rd or 4th round. Raiders Unleashed asked you to hit a dab in the super chat. Yeah, man. I probably shouldn't be doing that in the daytime on this, but I guess. I guess. Anything for the super chat. Make it for what you talking about, Bucks. Bucks are going to win the Super Bowl. What do you think? I don't even think they're going to make the playoffs. Geez, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but I still don't see them making the playoffs. The Raiders haven't been good since, I guess, Lyle Alzado. Ooh, that was one of my favorite players of all time, bro. And this is what I'm talking about earlier when one Raider player was over on the Giants bench getting stomped on, elbowed, and there was 8 dudes beating on this dude. There was no Raider fan to be a Raider fan or Raider player to be anywhere near that shit. If that would have happened when Lyle Alzado was playing for the Raiders, that dude would be in prison, bro, because he would have been over there with a helmet swinging that shit, trying to take people's heads off. That's the difference between the Raiders that I grew up and fell in love with to the soft ass Raiders we have now. Bucks aren't winning the Super Bowl. Blah 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 blah. Hit that dab, rebel. All right, I got you. Um, oh, hit a dab. Let's smoke for the 199. Huh? All right, I'm through the chats. Are you not allowed to smoke on the live? No, no. If I do, they bitch and complain. Yep, YouTube will definitely demonetize me. They flag my shit. They get stupid. They lower my cheap ass rates. I mean, it don't really mean shit, but you know, there's no reason to do this for nothing. I gotta do something out of it. And that's why I made a Patreon. That's why I made a Patreon, man. For $3 a month, you could come in any day in the mornings, hang out. We could talk ball. You could smoke. We could blaze. You could drink. You could do whatever you want, and there's not a problem with that. So that's why I started that. I'm in the middle of getting it going. And I mean, damn, for $3 in a month, I mean, shit, it's not even a cup of coffee, bro. Okay, so you know, I'm gonna try that and see if it works. If it works, then cool. If it doesn't work, then it is what it is. It ain't really a thing. But yeah, YouTube is lame, bro. Which is weird because I see plenty of channels where they're out there taking dabs, reviewing products, all kinds of shit. But I don't know how they do it. Yeah, YouTube is like they're simps. Eagles kick the Raiders' cheeks, bro. What does that even mean? What does that even mean, bro? Um, but they'll let you talk about trying to alter your biology. Yes, 100% facts. Yes, they will let you do that. They will also let you, hold on, time out. I also seen a video of a chick shaving her cooter. Shaving her cooter on the for real. Lips flapping, everything, junk out. I'm like, what the hell? This is YouTube? Like, how could y'all do that? How could y'all do that? But I can't do some shit when I got a damn medical license and it is it's legit. But had legs up in it like this. It was shaving their junk. I was like, on YouTube? How do you get away with that? That's crazy. That's crazy. Crazy. But YouTube is what it is. They do what they do. But so yeah, man, that's what I got. I believe, the Crosby situation is deeper than it looks. I feel like him not showing up at the game was a bad look for being the captain of this team. I think it was a bad look for this organization, for this franchise. And the relationship may very well be severed. And we will see. But You got a flag for nudity? Well, you always doing shit with see-through shirts on and your titties hanging out. So that's different. That's different. But I appreciate everybody that rock with me, everybody that hit the like button, everybody that chill with me this whole time. If y'all got any questions, let me know. I promised some people I would do a live later on, so I will be back on again today. Like I said, I'm trying to get to 2,000 before the season ends. That was my mission. That was my goal, and I hate more than anything than failing. Um, when I set a goal and put my mind to it. So I will be back on later on tonight, and we will do anything we can to get these subs up and get to 2,000. And I appreciate everybody that hits that sub button, hits the like button, that double taps the screen. But we will be back on. We will talk about this roster. We will break it down, and we will see out of the 23 free agents who is worth keeping, who's worth moving on from. Which really don't know until what coach is in the building. But I would give my 2 cents. So again, what does this say? I remember a few years ago, all the big channels I was watching weren't allowed to say COVID, Trump, infection, or anything like that. Damn, they'd get strikes. No way. That's crazy shit. Yeah, YouTube is wild, bro. YouTube is wild. That's why we trying to get over on this Patreon. Um, Make it a little something, something, something. I'll be doing also film breakdowns over there. If if you want to watch Raider film breakdown, I break down certain players, mostly mainly rookies, and players that are gonna be on this team. So pull up over there. Again, appreciate y'all. Um, Go check out Candy Angel and her channel, Hawaiian Candy or whatever it's called now. But appreciate everybody in the building. Much love as always. Raiders. Peace. I'll see you tonight as we break down the roster. Much love. Protect your mind, protect your health, protect yourself and your loved ones.